Hello, everybody. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at all the elements that you need to create lovely, clickable Pinterest pins using Canva. And before I jump into Canva itself, I'm going to let you know about all the different things you need to be mindful of when creating Pinterest pins. So let's have a look at the slides. All right. So just as a reminder, why we're looking at Pinterest in terms of the results that you can get from Pinterest, and you can get a whole lot more. This is just me on autopilot without too much work. All right, so the first thing we're looking at is the different Pinterest sizes. As you can see here, we have, or Pinterest has stipulated that you need to have an aspect ratio of 2 to 3 whenever you're creating your pins. And obviously that 2 to 3 also means that the pins need to be vertical at best. And the three main sizes are 600 by 900, 1000 by 1500, and 1200 by 1800. And bear in mind, a majority of people who use Pinterest do it from mobile devices. So here's a screenshot of the Pinterest platform. And as you can see, the pins in terms of the size and the way they look on the screen, it's all vertical. And when you think of a mobile device, especially the smartphone, the Pinterest pin will fit snugly into that shape whenever you create them and put them on the Pinterest platform. You can see here there's a few people with what we call square pins, and you can see how they differ in terms of the space it picks up on the screen compared to the vertical 2 to 3 aspect ratio pins. And this is a screenshot from a mobile device, and you can see it's only 4 pins fit into that screen space. And you can see then what that looks like in terms of the readability of each of the pins, etc. All right, so next thing you need to be mindful of, depending on your niche for your business, is stock photos or just photos in general. If you are not in the food or fashion and possibly beauty niche, depending on how you're doing your beauty and skincare, you'd probably have to rely, like me, on stock photos when you're creating Pinterest pins. And the best places to find stock photos are using places like Canva, Deposit Photos, Unsplash, Pexels, Ivory Mix, Style Society. And the first 4 are more or less free when it comes to finding the stock photos, and the other 2, Ivory Mix and Style Society, are paid platforms or paid stock photos. So this is what it looks like on Canva. So you can go to canva.com/photos and instantly get access to all the photos there. If you just want to browse and search and make sure that Canva has the photos that you need, and you can filter by free or premium. So if you have a paid version of Canva, you can obviously use all the photos that they have there. But if you've got a free version of Canva, then you'll be able to only use the free photos that are available, or they charge you, I think it's $1 per photo. That is a premium photo. And this is what it would look like when you're in the Canva app itself and you're going to create an actual pin. On the very left-hand corner of the Canva app, you'll see the photos on the left-hand side, and it's always sorted by trending. And you can then run a search as to what you want to choose from. Okay, so the other examples I mentioned was Unsplash. So here's an example of what you can find on Unsplash, and you can see they've got COVID-19 pictures, nature, wallpapers, textures and patterns, etc. on the very top there, and you can search again. And there's Pexels as well. And interestingly, Pexels also do videos. So if you want to create video pins as well on Pinterest, you can use somewhere like Pexels to grab some videos for creating your pins. So why pay for stock photos when you can get them for free? Well, the simple reason is if you have a specific brand image that you want to maintain, many times the free photos wouldn't cut it, as well as the actual message that your brand is presenting. So just because you're looking for a picture or an image or photo of someone in the gym, or even yoga photos, or someone in fitness, just as an overall fitness niche, you have different people in different aspects of fitness. You've got like cross-country fitness, triathlons, yoga, Pilates, and then you have all the different diets as well. And then you've got raw fitness, people who like to do everything like, I forget the name that they call it right now. But as you can imagine, across the fitness world, there are so many different verticals. And if you want your brand to look a certain way when it comes to fitness, then you would prefer to maintain that brand message and choose photos that are possibly premium photos that you would that will be more representative of your particular brand. And also, it's been noted that when you use premium photos, because they're unique, your pins actually get more reach compared to photos that have been used by other people across the Pinterest platform. And then when it comes to the actual topic, then you want to make sure that your images are on topic. So if you're posting something about, let's say, fitness again, you don't want to have a picture of a baby in a pram or something like that. It has to be on topic. And if it is, you can't find anything that's on topic, then you prefer to go and find it using a premium platform like IPMix or Style Talk Society, or even premium photos from Canva. All right, so next we're going to look at colors. Now, colors play a huge role when it comes to Pinterest pins. I don't know if you've ever realized that yourself, but it's such a big deal when it comes to colors. If you want to create scroll stoppers, if you want to blend the correct colors together, if you want to use the image that has the correct color scheme in it, that matches your brand, for example, and if you want to get colors that will actually perform better and get a better reach across the Pinterest platform. So here's an example of a screenshot of pins on Pinterest. The question I have for you is, which pin jumps out at you when you first look at this image, and why? Just think about that for a second. And here's another screenshot as well. Which pins jump out to you in terms of colors now, not the message, just the colors. Which pins jump out to you, and why? Why do you think they do? Okay, so Curelate conducted a study across the Pinterest platform a few years back, and this is what they found when it comes to colors. When it comes to saturation, for example, pins with a 50% saturation coverage get 10 times more repins compared to the saturated images. Pins that have orangish, reddish colors in it get twice as many repins compared to pins with colors like blues and sort of the dark browns. Then the number of colors in an image. So if you have multiple colors in an image, you get 3.25 times more repins compared to an image with a single color, which is very interesting. Then you have images with medium lightness get repinned 20 times more compared to images that are dark, as you can see in the image on the left. Then you've got the aspect ratio, as I was mentioning earlier, the 2:3 ratio. So vertical image that has an aspect ratio of 2:3 gets 4.5 times or 60% more repins compared to images that aren't that size. They are either square or they're probably much narrower. And then you have images with a background that's less than 10% in it, get 2 to 4 times more repins compared to images, as you can see on the right-hand side. So the one with the shades, for example, has 90% no background, whereas the one on the left has more background in it. So that gets 2 to 4 times more repins. Who would have thought? Then you've got images with faces in it, which I thought, the first time I saw this, I think 3 years ago, I thought it was very interesting. So brand images without faces get 23% more repins compared to images with faces in it. And then you have the idea of textures. So images with a smooth texture are repinned 17 times more than images with a rough texture in it. Okay, so now that you know that, the next time you're going to create a pin, think about the colors, think about the texture, think about the aspect ratio, and think about the backgrounds in that image if you want your pin to get repinned more compared to other people's pins. Now we're going to look at message. So if your message is readable, what kind of fonts you're using, and why should people click? You can look again at an example of the pins. So here's the pins again on the Pinterest platform. Which pins would you click on and why? So now we're not looking at the colors anymore, we're looking at the actual message. Take a look at the messaging on each pin and ask yourself, which ones would you click on and why? Once you've sort of had that in your head, then we're going to look then now at the call to action on the pin. So if you've created a pin and you've put it on the platform and you're getting the impressions and people are not clicking through, you need to ask yourself, are you asking the reader to do something, or are you solving their problem? Does it have enough curiosity on the pin? Like if it's just a pin about quotes, for example, obviously nobody's going to click through to that because the quote is on the pin. But if it's a picture or an image that elicits a bit of curiosity, like after using this potion or sauce or whatever it is, I was able to wake up early every morning. And everybody will want to know, well, why? What did you use? And that's elicits a bit of curiosity. Or if it is you have a pain that you're going through, like for example, you have dog hairs around the house, and you say, I use this one secret tool that removes dog hairs from around the house in 10 minutes or less, then people want to get that pain because the pain of having to clean dog hairs from the house every day is real for people. They don't want to spend an hour doing it. If you can do it for them in 10 minutes, they're going to click through to find out what it is that you're using to get the dog hairs from off the couches and chairs and floors in 10 minutes or less. And then another thing people do, people always buy for two main reasons. They're either running away from pain or they run towards pleasure. And obviously, pleasure is a very wide thing. So if you have the best chocolate chip cookies that all your neighbors are raving about, that's a pleasure thing. And everybody wants to know, what are you putting in these chocolate chip cookies? And they will click through to find out more. All right. So that's in terms of the call to action. So let's look at the pins again. Look at the pins, all four of them, or one or 3.5, whatever you want to call it. What is each of those pins saying to you? And would you click through? Just ask yourself that question. Take a moment and look at it. You might be attracted to a specific pin and ask yourself, would you click through? What is it about a message that is urging you to click through to find out more? All right. So now I'm going to do a quick demo of how to actually go about creating a pin in Canva. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to go in and look at one of my previous pins first and foremost. So over time, you'll recognize that it actually saves you a whole lot of time if you have specific templates set up in Canva. So here is one I created earlier this week, where I actually have 5 pin templates. So all I do is I go in and I just change out the information on the pin, bearing in mind those principles of the call to action and the messaging and the colors and the saturation and all of that. I know it's what you're thinking, that is overwhelmed, but trust me, you get it over time. Once you get the colors right, especially if it's related to your brand, then the rest is very easy. Just put it in your mind, like stay away from these colors. Like say, put 5 colors in your head, stay away from these colors. Even the images, it's very easy to change out. So let's look at an example. If you decide, okay, I'm going to create a pin from scratch. And you're going to do that by, if you go back to home, say you're logging in for Canva for the first time, you don't have a single Pinterest pin. And you create it from scratch. What you can do here is go and decide to choose an image first, as opposed to taking a blank one, or you can put the color based on your brand colors in the background. You decide whichever way you want to do it, or you can leave it at white. You go to the photos, and I like to do beaches for whatever reason. And because it's part of my brand, it represents freedom for me. And then what you do then is, especially if it is you're not in the fashion, food, beauty niche, you're not using your own products, what you do then is you go over to the shapes and you want to put a little bit of a message here. And the good thing about Canva, it has a sort of a grid effect. Okay, here we go. And you can leave that as that, or you can just stick it in as 80. And here's where you just press the your message on your pin then, and what it is you want to say. So I'm just going to put here my awesome message here on top. Remember, you have the ability then to change the fonts to match your brand. Okay, and sometimes Canva can seem a little bit delayed, but that's okay. And you have the ability then to change the spacing. I normally go with 1.2. My awesome message here, and you can then change that to white as opposed to having it black. And then you can have another font, like one of these, for example. So it comes together as a group, but you can ungroup them if you want, and just remove the top one, for example, and say, find out how you can get the same result. Bearing in mind, you don't want the message to be to not be readable. It has to be able to. People have to be able to read it. So if it is that the font is too curly and difficult to read, you might want to go in and choose a different font. From the options provided. So you can go with Railway instead, for example. Or you can use another script for it. Just type in script if you want to get them up really quickly. And okay. And here you can feel free to use emojis, or put your brand in the bottom of the pin. And it does take time to get it right until you're 100% happy. And also remember that you can also put frames. So frames, like say for example, you have a free product that you want to give away, or ebook or whatever, you can actually put an image of it there. So let's pretend, because I do have images of an ebook. Okay. Okay. Okay, so maybe I change all that to one of the other ones. Okay. And there we go. Oops. You can reduce the spacing of this to 1.2. And then head over and grab that ebook or freebie and just drop it in there. And then obviously you would want to stick in an arrow. The Pinterest, the Canva platform can be quite slow in responding to. Okay. And there you have it. Now I would narrow this down a bit because I'm not happy with the way it's spaced. Okay. And there you go. You have a bit of reds. Obviously, you would put whatever that message is, getting people to click through. I'm going to bring this up a bit. You might want to bold that a bit. And you might want to filter this into Kali. I like using Kali. And there you go. Your wonderful pin created from scratch. And once you have that created one time, you can actually, you can easily group them all together once you're done. And that will allow you then to change a background image. And it's a really simple process. Whenever I'm creating pin images, I tend to do 5 at one time. So with this one, you can leave the message the same, and then you can change out the background. One that actually is suitable. And it's real simple. And boom, second pin image. So it's a different, you might think, but it's the same, but actually it's not. It's different pin image. And you can change out a message in the third pin, and in the fourth pin, you can change out this message. And in the fifth pin, you can change out this little image here. So you have, that way you have 5 pins created instantly. And then when you create your next blog post or your next page, and you want to create images for it, you just use the same template. Obviously, just make a copy, as it says here, and change it out, and instantly you have another template that you can use for another blog post. Okay. I hope that was awesome, and I hope you liked how easy it is to create awesome pins using Canva. But remember the basic principles when it comes to images, the kind of images you use, the call to actions, the actual message of the pin, the colors, saturation, and all of that. You can replay this video, obviously, to make sure you're happy with what you need to know before you create your pin. And even after you create your pins, you can double check and make sure you're actually happy that you've covered all the aspects for crazy clickable pins. Right. So the question I have for you then is, tomorrow we'll be looking at tailwind scheduling. And then if you have any sort of questions, feel free to leave them at the bottom of this particular video. Letting me know what sort of questions you have. Okay, that's it for today. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.